like, well, didn't you say this privately? That's just not my place to do it. It's not. I never feel like it's my place to do it. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Does the therapist know about that trait, talking shit to other people and Mel? Yeah, of course. It was one of the huge things that would come up over and over and over again. But she always had like an excuse for everything. I'm just trying to think of like where I want to, because there's just like one or two quick things I wanted to run over, and then I'll probably do a more comprehensive thing. Why do you think that she isn't going to leak or talk shit? Molina will not leak or talk shit about any of this because she knows that everything about this makes her look like a fucking satanic demon. She knows that. She's threatened it a million times, like, I'm going to start leaking everything. Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay, if you really want to, holy f***, because my reputation is already zero in regards to our relationship. Everybody thinks I'm a horrible piece of shit. We want to start leaking shit, we can do it. She knows that she looks horrible, though. And her reputation has always been spotless insofar as, like, relationships is going. Like, she knows that. That's why her and Tim were like, wow, we're going to talk about it, we're ready. No, you're not. You're going to say shit. You know you're not. Okay? Yeah. I'm sorry. The only things that I want to do, though, is I want to make sure that, like, I don't want to be thought of as a liar. That irritates me. I don't like the idea that the impression is that like I'm an abusive person. And I want to give like a very broad accounting of like things that have happened because I don't like the impressions that exist of me, like relating to a lot of this stuff. But what I have to like be careful about is I don't want it to be like I hate Molina, which I do, by the way. F that bitch. She has everything that's coming to her. Thank God. But I don't want it to be like, because I hate her, now we're leaking 6 hours of like our private life to make her look bad. That's not like my goal. And that's not even for her. I don't care about it. It's just, it reflects poorly on me. And it's not like the character that, I don't think it's becoming of like high character. Yeah. So I have to like sort through like what I want to do on that. If you say that Molina was scheming, why did you want to briefly hold on to the relationship last week? So, what am I looking for? God, fuck. Just making sure I'm not like, end up saying something I don't want to ever elaborate on later on. What happened over the last couple of days? So, fuck. What am I? What made you believe Molina over Darius when they had their drama? Did you just take Molina's story at face value? What? No, I never believe Molina. That's why I didn't say shit about it publicly. I don't have shit to say. I let them fight over it. That was also their fight too. Yeah, I want to, yeah, oh God, I shouldn't have said anything. No, I guess. Basically, okay, so here's like, I'll give you this is like the really, really broad macro, and then I'll figure out how I want to like talk about this. Because it's probably, when I do this, it's going to be like, this is going to be like an hour or at the most talk. And then I'm moving on from this, okay? This isn't going to be some huge back and forth fucking leak war. But something that I've said is that for a long time, because of my background and everything, I try to assume all the responsibility for everything, because if there's a problem and I can't fix it, then I just say, okay. In some ways, this is really beneficial for work. In some ways, it's really not beneficial, like personal relationships, because sometimes it's hard for me to assign accountability, or it's hard for me to realize like, okay, well, I'm putting in like 99% of the effort here and they're putting in 1%. Like, I need more. This is not like a equitable exchange of who's trying to make like a particular thing work. That was a huge problem that I ran into with Molina. The two things that I was like balancing my head on was, or trying to balance my head was, either like Molina is like this really kind of like toxic, manipulative, like piece of shit who's like super self-centered and is like actually about as smart as I thought she was, and is like really good at kind of like aiming in intelligent directions and being like manipulative and doing things like for reasons that make sense. Or on the other end, she's just like, she's still growing, she's like emotionally developing. Some other person is like kind of with her mind a lot and like confusing her on a lot of things, and she just needs time to like sort stuff out, and she's just kind of like easy to take advantage of, for blah 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 blah. So I was kind of like rotating between these two worlds. I think on December 7th, Molina and I had another conversation here, and that conversation ended horribly. I was beyond triggered. And I told her she had to pack her shit and get the out. By the time I got home on the 9th, she needed to be gone with all of her shit. I didn't want to see her again. I needed her to get the out. So that was the night that I started. I had a short conversation with her in DMs. One of the things I hate the most is that like, Molina is so smart what she's trying to be. And I give her props for it, okay? I am unhinged, okay? That night on the 7th, I'm literally like, I'm off, okay? I'm completely gone at the seams. And then I start DMing her, and these are rough DMs, okay? I'm like, you selfish piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. And all of her responses to me are like really cold, pretty loving, in like a cold, detached way, very logical. And she's also like denying some things that like she's fessed up to in the past. And I'm just like, fucking you obviously don't blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm like, I remember thinking at the end of this conversation, I'm like, this conversation looks unhinged. I look like a crazy person. But whatever. We do that shit. I don't want to go to sleep because I don't even want to see her. And then I start like typing shit in chat, which I shouldn't have because I was stupid. I just start like typing shit, leak shit. I shouldn't be saying anything because I should take time to calm down and blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, I fly off to, where do I go? I go to LA to hang out with a friend, and then I do 2 shows. What am I doing? I'm doing Jubilee, and I'm doing that Whatever podcast. And while I'm there, I've got like, I think 2 days separation between us. At this point, for the first time in my life, now I'm soliciting feedback from a ton of people to try to like adjust like my priors. I'm trying to figure out like the is going on, blah, blah, blah. At this point, I send like a huge apologetic message to Mel saying, listen, I shouldn't have leaked anything at all. I understand I make your life difficult right now. I'm being really unhinged. I think she had me blocked on all the socials at this point, so I passed the message through Nino. I'm like, listen, like, I understand you can keep me blocked for as long as you need. If you want to reconnect or chat, we can like figure things out, or not, like whatever you're comfortable with. I understand, blah, blah, blah. That was like my message to her. Then I came back to the US, and then I had a meeting with Stacy, our therapist, because I'm trying to figure out, like, I can't tell because Molina always tells me, like, I love you, I'm trying to work on this, let's do what we can, blah, blah, blah. And then all of our mutual friends are like, no, Molina loves you. Molina really does. She's trying to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, man, a lot of the actions make that really hard to believe. And I was like, well, that's because you've been so mean to her. It's like, okay, well, she does like a lot of really shit. Yeah, but that's because of you. And it's like, okay, maybe, but like some of this is really hard to explain. Well, that's because of 5 years of trauma. It's like, okay, maybe, I guess, right? So, okay. So I talked to Stacy, and Stacy's like, yeah, like you should aim for this outcome instead of like f***ing everything up and then doing this outcome. And I'm like, okay. I have like a 3-hour meeting with her. I have like a 2-hour call with a friend. And I have my shit ready to go. I already had the manifesto made. I have already got everything typed. I'm ready to go. I typed it the night that on the 7th when I told her to get the out. I already had everything put together. And then I come home and I look at it. I'm like, okay, me. Take a deep breath. She's still your wife. Let's chill. And then I do the cuck stream. Okay. Come on, and I say I shouldn't have leaked anything, which is true. I shouldn't have because I wasn't like in the right headspace for it. I say I shouldn't have leaked anything. We chill. Yeah, and I think I just basically like apologetic. I leave the door open. If Molina wants to connect again, that's fine. Blah 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 blah. And then I stop, and then we go stream. We do whatever. After this, I noticed a few passive-aggressive, I think, tweets or something from Molina. If you guys ever wonder why I have such good relationship advice, because I know every mistake to make, and I make all of them simultaneously. So obviously, I've created dummy social media accounts to follow everything, just to see what's going on. Obviously, okay? Yeah, I know all the unhealthy tricks, okay, because I do them, okay? So yeah, I'm following to keep tabs on everything. Well, let's see, what are we tweeting about? What are we storing about? And I see like a few... I see a few passive-aggressive messages like, man, feels so good to be back in here. Like, okay, whatever, bitch. Okay. But that's fine. I say my piece. It's whatever. We do my birthday party thing. I'm chilling. Okay. No happy birthday from Mel. Stings a little bit, but, maybe she doesn't remember my birthday. It's all good. And then I think I'm chilling. I'm okay at this point. I left Mel in a good spot. I go to stream, and I think we're just streaming. I've got like friends that are coming over. Everything's cool. And then we start rolling. And this is when I find out a lot of people start messaging me things, and then I'm getting like messages from things that she's saying to other people, and these messages are like, I'm so fucking glad I got out of there. I never want to go back to this horrible blah blah blah. I realized how much of an abuser he is, and he was always like this blah blah blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm seeing some of these messages, and this was in response to the cuck stream I did, where she was like, he shouldn't have even done anything, and I can't believe that he even went live again and tried to make everybody sympathetic for him. I'm like, the fuck? And then after this shit, I start getting it. I'm like, okay, hold on. Do you remember when Sansa says to Littlefinger, she's like, she uses his game against him. She's like, sometimes when people, whatever, I like to play a little game or whatever to like assume the worst intentions. So then I like go back. I'm like, okay, let's pretend that like my original hunch on how Mel was moving for the past 2 months, what if that was like actually true? And then when I go back and I retrofit on everything, every single action that I thought she was doing for a particular reason, everything makes sense. I'm like, fuck me for letting every person talk me out of this initial assessment of things, where then I realized like, I'm still being kind of vague. I'll figure out how much I want to say with this in a future thing. Sorry. I'm just getting to today. Past all of that, once I see that now she's like reached out to God knows how many people, even the therapist. No, I'm not going to argue with my therapist, but yeah, once I see that she's reached out to God knows how many mutual friends, who the everybody in Sweden probably thinks I'm like an abusive, horrible piece of shit. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know, what do I do past this point? Let's see, that would have been 14th, 15th. What have we done the past few days? I think I just stream. I think I feel good again. I feel good after I see those messages. Oh, I remember what I do. I see those messages, and as soon as I see that, I think it was on the 13th, I'm like, okay, this. Run to the attorney, and I say, divorce papers, print them up, and then, I tell Mel, these need to be signed by Monday, end of day, or shit is going to get catastrophic. We're done.